listen to our chief guest. Today, to talk on SDG6 clean water and sanitation, we have with us Dr. M. Selva Balan, Joint Director, Central Water and Power Research Station. He is working as a Joint Director, Scientist and Head of Hydraulic Instrumentation and Canal Automation Divisions at CWPRS. He has done his PhD in Machine Learning and Advanced Signal Processing Bathymetry Survey Data in Computer Science Engineering Department at Defense Institute of Advanced Technology, a deemed university under Ministry of Defense. He has worked as lecturer at Madras Institute of Technology during 1996-1998 and worked as development engineer at Philips Medical System during 1998. He was selected by UPSC for the post of research officer at CWPRS, Ministry of Water Resources in November 1998 and serving since then. Dr. Selva Balan has been associated with many vital projects across India and many national important projects, and has worked as an expert member nominated for World Bank projects related to national hydrology projects and guided Kerala and Tamil Nadu states. His area of interest includes machine learning, image processing, acoustic imaging, resistive imaging, knowledge-based engineering tools, SCADA, bathymetry survey, MEMS-based dam automation. He is now working on artificial intelligence, ANN, GA applications and coding using MATLAB, Python and MicroPython applications. GCPIT is proud to have you as chief guest for today, sir, as we discuss SDG6, clean water and sanitation. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Aparna, for introducing me. This is a great privilege for me to have me in this program as a chief guest. You are aware, like Central Water and Power Research Station is part of Ministry of Jal Shakti, and through National Hydrology Project and you're aware about Dam Rehabilitation Improvement Program, Government of India is trying to address the sustainable water resources issue in a very big way. And this is an ongoing project. This National Hydrology Project has been happening for last more than 15 years. And it is being funded by World Bank. So through which the main agenda is to keep the water resources and preserve it, and make it pollutant free. Sustainable water management techniques. Being an electronic and computer science professional, I won't be getting into the civil aspects of it. Like, the problem not lies only in the water contamination or the the water resources aspects. It is basically in the technology aspects. That's what is so important, and hence I am focusing my presentation on the technology issues. This will provide you a way forward to make the water resources available and clean and available for the use. Okay, so I would like to thank the organizers first of all, and the director who permitted me to share the data what we have collected for at the CWPRS. So I'll be briefly touching upon these aspects. So resources versus commodity. There is a wrong notion. Water is not a commodity; it is a resource. So you know that it's not for sale. Like, it is being given. So you have to preserve it, and you have to give it to the generation ahead, and so you don't have any right to use it as you want. So that is the basic understanding. If you understand and accept this fact, then other points make some sense. Let us touch upon a little bit of from where the source of water is available. Once you have an idea about it, probably maybe the topic is so relevant today because people lack the knowledge. Actually, once you educate them, probably the resources will be, everybody will contribute to this to preserve this natural resource. And what is needed and what is the meaning of development? Like I have shared it in one slide, which I will be, probably everybody will accept it. And where we stand now, presently where we are. Then there are standards, because many times people complain about, we don't know like what is the standard, how much I can pollute or how much I can put a borehole to withdraw the water. So there are standards. The time won't be sufficient for me to explain all the standards, but we have Bureau of Indian Standards, IS codes are available, which is very specific for Indian continent and for our zone wise also. So it is very important to understand that these standards get upgraded, and probably many don't know this Bureau of Indian Standards allow any public to give his input, which can be accommodated to the standards. By default, these standardization organizations call us experts from that field. They will ask, even to me to write a standard for how to do a survey, how to set up a bathymetry positioning system. But I have some knowledge which I have studied, but then the field knowledge might be available from the person who is working day to day in the field, and then the board man may know much better information than me at certain points. So these particular points also can be incorporated. So people should be aware about it. So why this is important is the government agencies go by the standards. So unless otherwise the standards are not set right, people don't have an idea whether you can legally take an action against a person who is withdrawing more water from groundwater potentials. So these are all, this type of very common questions arises in a societal level. People ask us, but this awareness is not created. So basically, we intend to create an awareness. Once people are aware, probably they realize like how much we are, endangering the resource, so that we can able to preserve it better. And there are many volunteer. I have not kept any government data here. So these are all many of the volunteer organizations which are all very authenticated, institutions who are working in this domain. See, more than I advise, and I wish everybody should go through YouTube and then see these videos where the protection measures and how this issue of sustainable growth is been discussed and being practiced in India. So all the 4 examples I have taken are from Indian region. This is Save Animal Sanctuary is the Kodagu region, where the Kaveri dispute is a big issue. So we are part of this study, but however, this particular organization is doing a lot of work, which probably we have not so far considered in our problem solving attitude. So such input should be taken. Then restoration of this is also again in Western Ghats near southern Tamil Nadu, because mostly if you see the southern part of India is water scarce compared to the northern peninsula. So and the problem is is now migrating in a big way, and it is becoming a dispute between states. So for dispute resolution and to preserve the nature, we need to go for the sustainable growth model, which needs a lot of understanding about the nature. And then DRCSC is again another project which is being implemented in Kolkata, near to Kolkata. This is one of the wonderful study where these two are at least in a hilly terrain where you have a natural rainfed zones, whereas in this particular Kolkata zone, it depends on only the rainfall based irrigation, where how they do a sustainable growth. Then another one project in Auroville, which is near to Pondicherry. Probably as per the time permits, I will just go through each and every point. So let us understand a little bit about our water resources system. So I have kept a photograph here, and then I have just talked about the parameters of interest. So this is something called as a catchment. Like normally a river flows, the nature has given us rainfall. Why rainfall is happening? The atmosphere which carries the water droplets get cooled with the high rise. So you need high rise, and their cooling mechanism should be there. So you can appreciate this idea. So there is a hillocks, and the hillocks are flooded with trees, rainforests, rather we can call it as rainforest. So the rainforests cool the atmosphere, which attracts the water vapours from the atmosphere, bring it down, and then that comes down as a river stream. Now, as a human evaluation, so you know that our complete our history are grown in the river banks. Everybody knows that. Now, to preserve the water for non-monsoon seasons, we build a reservoir or we build a dam which creates a reservoir. So here I have shown it in a graphical form, a dam structure. So the dam structure, once you construct a structure, what will happen? You will get some accumulation of water. So this is called as water spread area. So this area you created, And this is the catchment area, means the water falling at this point contribute to this water storage. The water falling at this point will go to the other side of it. So probably you'll have another dam on the other side. So now, for example, now sitting in Pune, I'll get water from the eastern side of the Western Ghats, and the other part will go to the Mumbai and the other zone. So this catchment area gets water which is being stored. Now it doesn't only store the water which has been collected. This water, based on the intensity, force, and in a time series manner, will erode the soil, will create deforestation if it is so heavy, which will create landslides. So these are all problems associated with it. So when you understand this nature, so this does not only bring in water to it, it is leading to some good advantageous things as well as some disaster things also. So a sustainable growth model means, while collecting it, you have to how big I can construct a dam, so that how much area I can able to. So even if I constructed a taller dam, probably this will go further inside. So this is a lot of engineering inside into it. Okay, let us not get into it. So the parameters of interest are the weather, rainfall, ET means evapotranspiration, then the water which is coming at water rate discharge, and then the data. The data transfer is for the disaster management application point of view. Now, what I want to clearly mention here is now the development, your development. See, why do you store this water? This water is going to be for what you have to take it for irrigation needs, you have to take it for drinking water and household utilization and industrialization. These are the major three parameters for which you store the water and utilize it. Now, in case if you build more and more industries, then you need more water. So the availability increases. So you are expected to store more water. So how much you should load this dam? So that's where the level of greediness to the requirement need. So to understand this, you need to understand how much water is available. The consecutive slides probably I will show you that. But the basic problem what we face here is none of these parameters are being measured or monitored accurately, precisely rather, that I can say. Why it is not measured? Because the monitoring technology, because the process is a multidisciplinary, and it requires individual human knowledge is not sufficient to understand this process. So unless otherwise you are not clear with 100% clear with the design criteria of God or the creator, you cannot disturb it to the level of your own interest. So it should be done with the proper knowledge. So what I can understand this much. So you can disturb this much. Let me not get and disturb this whole portion. That's what is the sustainability word is applicable at this range. So here I have shown another point. So when you release the gates, then it is going to flood many things. So you have urbanizing population here. So these people will come under the flooding scenario. So we need to address this aspect. So the key element for a controlled sustainable growth is to have a measurement, and unless otherwise you cannot measure certain things, you are not able to control it. Now the problem of landslides and all are not measurable, tsunami not measurable, the flood not measurable. So why flood is happening? So it is unless you cannot able to understand how much rainfall is going to happen this year and how much I should operate the gate so that is it going to flood or not. So we have some small instruments with which I can able to measure certain parameters, maybe take some level. So okay. So now here we understood the concept of the need for sustainable development. Let us not be greedy to what you cannot measure or visualize should not be planned. First of all, that is the point I want to focus here. Now, so we call it as a water scare nation or water scare planet. Are we really scared about the resource, or are we flooded? Because we see both the scenarios. This is completely a proper mismanagement. This management is not successful. That is attributed to measurement. So I could not able to measure it, so I cannot manage it. That's the point. So what the data shows here, now you will appreciate it. 97% of seawater, out of which only 2.5% In frozen form, 0.5% of water is available for you, and that is not available as a runoff. It is available as a rainfall, natural lakes, reservoirs, and rivers. Now, this is very important. These are all surface water resources. So now this is what is directly available, which you are free to use it. So the creator has given you in this format. So this is what is available for you to use. And the other out of this fresh water also 90% or more than 90% is available as a below earth, so which is called as a groundwater. So you can see some of the statistics. I am not going to read it, which when I share the slides, you will appreciate it. Now here, as per the Bureau of Indian Standards data, we, you see that this is available water to per capita available. So the point is, water is available. We don't know how to utilize it. It is completely a management issue. You could not quantify this by the existing technologies available. So I attribute it to a multidisciplinary engineering domain through which let us quantify it first, then you go and manage it before you plan for river interlinking or many other things. So again, you will get into problems when you get into a new development. So let us understand how much we have by all the knowledge we have it in multi-domain expertise. Okay, so this is the Kudagu region. So this is, I'm not going to read it. So what we lose is, we are not losing the water, we are losing the green cover, we are increasing the temperature, global warming, we attribute to that. Then you are polluting the air. So many things are connected. It is a multi-domain problem. That is what electronic engineer, a civil engineer cannot able to comment on it. It is a domain that is a problem. Now, when you ask me to speak on the subject, it is a multi-domain disciplinary subject. So we need all sit together to plan any system. Otherwise, you will even all sitting together, you cannot able to understand the creator's knowledge. So this is an example in Auroville, Tamil Nadu. So what is the difference between development and sustainable development? Environmental preservation is a desirable consequence, not a prime objective in a development. That's what probably we are all doing it. I think everyone will accept it. In a sustainable development, creation of intergenerational equity is the central theme and the purpose of sustainable development. So if you accept this particular aspect, like nobody will go and overexploit the resources, then sustainable development is accomplished when renewable sources are used at the rate smaller than the rate of regeneration. This is very important. I had some data probably in the next slides. The time taken for a surface water to regenerate is 14 days, and maybe here itself. Okay, let us discuss. Then pollution does not exceed the rate by which the environment can assimilate it. This is very important. Like there is a rate in which Mother Nature can take up the values. I am not giving this precise values, but these values are available, which we will share you. And use of aquifer groundwater is not sustainable, whether river wire is sustainable, because the recharge duration of aquifer is at least like many years if you exploit it, whereas the surface water is not that bad. It is in 14-15 days when the rainfall comes. So dam building is one of the good development, a sustainable development. I can say that, creditability to that. And this particular slide is a very latest information what we have taken from Central Water Commission 2019. And the water availability as per the original design in India in almost all major rivers, what is available. And now from the satellite information and the new assessment calculating the evapotranspiration, when we calculated, every place there is a difference of more than 10 billion cubic meter. See, this is very huge. The reservoir in Pune where we stay, it is 2 TMC of water it is holding. So 2 TMC of water plus some of the upstream reservoirs, the whole Pune city is being fed with. But the difference in your volume calculation itself is more than 10 BCM is so alarming. So now the modern ways of assessing our water resource potential and water quality assessment, this is not done at all. This is not feasible present day. So we go by some mathematical models and some data which is available from old books and literature. So now technology is available. I'll come to that. Okay. Now, in a global scenario also, irrigation land by region, India is the highest. Average distribution losses also, India is highest. So, for example, in the water circulation system through canals, 40% of water is lost in the circulation system itself. That is too big, and we blame the farmers for wasting water. Our system itself could not able to take. That is a present scenario. So what is advisable? So it is not a one day work to transfer all the open canals to a piped irrigation system. So drip irrigation is always going to be a better one, but it's not possible. We have already built all our canal systems. So how to efficiently use it? So you have to quantify this. Okay, unless, again, I'll insist here, unless you measure it, you cannot control it. So, okay. These are some of the data. I'm not going to read this. Okay, so now India is now considered in water state as per the global data, but this is to be reanalyzed. We are having more water. We have not quantified it, or we have not managed it. That's what I feel. So if you manage it, we will be coming to the blue zone. Okay. Yeah, so we have time varying phenomena, like, you know, one end you do this and another end we do this also. So the growing water demand, this is a world scenario. Now in a high income countries, agriculture usage is only 30%, whereas for us around 82% are agriculture. And now again, with the growing population, we have to cultivate more. Our water demand is going to increase more and more. So this is a very serious problem. By 2025 or 2030, we need to create more agricultural lands also. So existing resources you have to maintain, and then you have to preserve it. So this data will show you the growth rate. Okay. Yeah, this is a point I was insisting. It takes about 2 weeks to renew the water resources in all rivers on Earth. It will take about 1,400 years to renew the groundwater. This groundwater is not seen outside. So anybody has their liberty to draw any amount of water. There is a big lobby happening. So this is to be monitored and controlled. So there is no control mechanism presently. There are laws available, but yeah, which is not stringently implemented. But then all are linked parameter. When you withdraw more and more, this surface water will go down. So you'll be losing more and more. So the process is a complete closed loop system. We understand only one loop and we are trying to work on it. So this is the, so let me not touch upon many points. So you can. So the total available precipitation of 4,000 BCM is finally given to you only 450 BCM, billion cubic meters of water only available. So much you are losing in between. There may be thousands of reasons you can give for this, but you're losing it. So if you can able to optimize this portion, you know, the total water resources potential could be you know, brought in tandem, or you can make our country water rich country rather. So technology is must. That's what. Oh, I'm sorry. And where we stand now, presently on technology, we are like, you know, here somebody is putting their head inside the mud to see how much is the water level. We are not so bad, but you know, to see that. But where we have to come, we have to come. This is for Krishna Bhima Basin under World Bank aided hydrology projects. Government of India has been given huge loans from World Bank in order to preserve our water resources and bring complete data on a transparent online platform. So this is the first step of our success. When you try to bring it in online on a transparent platform, the crimes or the malfunctionings or the illegal things will come down. So that's the objective of it. But we need more knowledge-based trainings are required. So now, yes, so now people have realized it is really a multidisciplinary knowledge, and more departments are getting together. The major department now we have included in the National Hydrology Project is National Remote Sensing Center, because when you go above and then see the Earth through a satellite, satellites has multiple eyes, multiple cameras or multiple frequencies through which you can see many things which our eye cannot see, by which we could be able to manage the resource in a much better way. So why the more research is required? Because the knowledge about the nature is less. We need more and more data. The data what we collect nowadays, maybe very huge for your computer to run, but for not to understand the nature fully. So we have a boundary rule, and then we study the project, and then we create our resources. It needs a multi-domain expertise, yes. Never to try to, we try to control the nature. That's where we make a mistake. We try to manage and live with it. Like even sometimes it is been thought like, go and plant a tree, do a tree plantation. It is not required. You just leave the nature as it is. Nature will take care. It knows what trees to grow for that particular environment. The nature knows for Western Ghats what type of growth. You will take palm tree and then go and put it in Western Ghats. That's not a correct idea. So you leave the nature, it manages on its own. So it is completely a closed loop system. Complete universe is a closed loop system. You try to, so we are not in a position to understand completely. So let us not disturb it. Let us work in manage it. So what you take is not the key here. What you contribute is important. So how do you do that? You have to look for an alternate. In case you have less water, then you have to look for an alternative choice rather than forcibly putting the crop what you are always doing it even with the lesser water. So the final objective is to get the yield and your benefits. That's the important. So go for an alternative choice. So what CWPRS does is it's a 100-year-old institute which is having the multi-domain expertise available here, by which we could able to provide a solution with the complete domain expertise. We are tied up with the leading IITs, the National Remote Sensing Center. So institute sort of this type of institute should be encouraged. The research model should be encouraged, by which you could able to get a sustainable solution. So about 22 major departments work on water resources. Okay, so any process before it is constructed, it is been physically modeled, mathematically modeled. Then the minute things like sediment, all those things are studied. Then field data is collected, and it's a complete, not a complete, rather for that particular process. Yeah, for a small stream, we can have a complete study. So at least that small developments we can do it. Now, when we go for a powerhouse and all, and you constructed a reservoir. By constructing the reservoir, you are expected to accumulate the mud. So the mud get trapped, and then one fine day it is trying to slide, or it will enter through the powerhouse node, or it will try to reduce the capacity. And when you go for a development, these things are expected to happen. You cannot stop it. So how do you? So you should plan your development in a controlled manner. Like I should not have a 100 meters dam here. In case that the losses expected are high. So that's what I meant to say. Multiple small structures. Okay. So this canal I have already told. So now the knowledge base such as temperature, drip irrigation concepts, artificial intelligence, these are all happening now. So probably we are in the right track. So it is going to take some more time to optimize the use and benefits, so sustainable benefits. Else you will be encountering, you make a powerhouse in the downstream, your glacier melts, you create heat here, and then these ice melts, and then these things are expected. Even in the port and harbor activities can endanger some of the environmental aspects. So I advise everyone to get into this Sai Sanctuary video clipping, which talks about with the data, so which I could not share, the water quality aspects, which will be discussed in this video. So that's why I kept you a loop here. And this is the DRCSE model in Calcutta. So you create certain ponds and an elevated place. So that generates an sub-bottom layer of flow, which will keep the environment green and sustainable water resources. So nature is too big for a human to control, so we need to live with it. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity.
Thank you so much, sir, for that very informative session. As you said, it is important to make people aware about the need for taking care of our natural resources. And as you mentioned, I think we all should start shifting our focus from development to sustainable development. We have to do towards achieving this goal, and JCPIT will always be there to support in whichever way possible. Thank you so much for joining us today in this summit.